Today I want to talk about how often should I train. This is one of the questions which I get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, what is the ideal reps and sets and the number of days to work. Plus I'll run you through my training routine so that you have a pretty good picture of how often to train. Now, coming to training, I mean, there are different training methodologies and training principles. Now depends on what's your fitness level and what kind of level are you at, whether you are intermediate or a beginner. Now if you're a beginner, I would say it's always better to train on a circuit training. Especially I would say 3 days of training is for a week is far more enough than what is required, because if you're going to do any more than 3 more days of weight training, you're going to get into a stage where you're going to fatigue yourself, and you would see lesser results, and you wouldn't be able to hit the poundage. That's for beginners. Now coming to intermediates, I would say be it even an intermediate or an advanced natural lifter, let me make that clear, it's for natural lifters, meaning people who are not on steroids. I would say 4 days at the most. It would be 5 days a week which you need to train. If you train any more than that, you're going to see lesser results, as in you wouldn't be able to gain that much of mass or put on that much of muscle, because it would be very taxing on your body. Now coming to reps and sets, I would say when it comes to hypertrophy, anything you do beyond 7 repetition, right, or 7 beyond 7 is going to trigger hypertrophy, and that's the ideal thing. I don't think you need to go for 12 repetition or 15 repetition unless it's a warm-up set. So ideally I would say do 2 to 3 sets of warm-up sets, right, ranging from 12 to 7. Okay, keep it at that. And once you start hitting your working set is one where you're doing your actual set, and that's excluding the warm-up. So I would say me being a big believer, and I follow the HIIT training philosophy right from Mike Menzier to Dorian Yates. That's my style of training. So ideally I would do 2 sets of working sets, just 2 sets of working sets, right? So I would suggest you, being a beginner or intermediate, do 3 to 4 sets of working set, since you wouldn't have a fair idea of what is the ideal poundage that you should be hitting, and most importantly the intensity. When you're an intermediate or a beginner, you don't have an idea of what should be the intensity that you should put in order to get that particular density in muscle or build muscle mass. So I would say 3 to 4 sets, and repetition for the working set should be anywhere between 6 to 7 repetition, and warm up start from 12, keep it between like 9 repetition. So do 3 sets of warm up and 3 to 4 sets of working sets. 4 days a week of training, excluding cardio, or you could also include cardio depending upon your recovery. The most important thing is recovery, because if you do not recover, it's gonna end up being overtraining. There are other videos where I explain what overtraining is and how it can hamper your goals, and your basically it'll diminish your gains. So there are videos on that you could check out on my channel. So anything you do beyond this is going to end up being overtraining. So try to avoid overtraining and just follow these basic methodologies. And coming to kind of training you need to do would be the big lifts or the multi-joint exercises like bench, deadlift and squat. Add in overhead press. So if you do that, that's more than enough. And as per my training routine, as I said, I just do the 2 working sets, and I would probably do 3 to 4 warm-up sets before I hit the maximum poundage, and I train 4 days a week, right? So as long as you're doing it, you're gonna make gains. So please let me know if you have any more further questions. Subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. Thank you.